I envision the superintendent being the one to lead the whole district in this meeting. In the beginning, I would like to provide the whole staff with a breakfast. Well, not myself, but the PTO. I think this is really important because not only does it give the staff and everyone participating nutrients and energy, but it also boosts morale and it really starts us off on a really good foot with a clear mind, ready to go. After that, I think it's really important that we have staff celebrations. So I imagine the superintendent walking around with a microphone, just asking for people to share anything positive, any of the amazing work that they're already doing, any successes, anything that they're proud of. This really hypes people up because then they know that they're being recognized and appreciated for all the hard work that they already are doing and will continue to do in the future. If you click on this link, it is the story that was from How to Make Your School Thrive Without Breaking the Bank. I retold it myself with a illustrated version of it that I made in Adobe Spark. I think it would be important for the superintendent to either show this video or to tell it himself using pictures, because humans are social creatures and we have a really good memory and an interest for stories, especially if we can relate or feel involved in some way. So I think before anyone even brings up that we're here to make a vision statement, it would be important to tell the story so that they're already critically thinking about it and they've put themselves in the shoes of like why it's important to be very clear about your goals and purpose. After they hear the story and they've been thinking about it, I think it's important for the superintendent to kind of bring the reins home a little bit, dig a little bit deeper in a little bit more profound way. So I have this quote displayed: "Be the change that you wish to see in the world," by Mahatma Gandhi. I think this is important because, especially in this profession, everyone has their own purpose and their own goals and their own idea of what the changes that need to be made are. And I think it would be important to kind of dig that out of people a little bit before moving forward, because everyone really does have a good heart and a meaning and a purpose behind why they do what they do. And I think it's important to get them to start thinking about that. And they already understand from the story that it's important to be clear about that. So I think it would be very important to share at this district-wide staff meeting. After that, the superintendent would go into talking about the details. So what is a vision statement? Here is the definition that I'd come up with on my own: a statement that resonates in the hearts and minds of members of the school, staff, and community, that states the school district's values and goals. I think first it's important for them to understand what it is, and then how to build it, and kind of the things that they're going to look at today, that they are going to look at some more examples, their own vision statement, and we just want it to be meaningful. I think this part of the presentation is we need this to resonate. That is my favorite word of this definition. It needs to resonate in everyone involved. After that, it's very important that the superintendent strongly stresses the importance of every single person who's there today. I imagine him like walking through the auditorium, if that's where it's being held, but just letting them know that we cannot create this vision statement without all of you. It's important to get their input because they are the ones who see students on a day-to-day basis. They interact with the community, they see the parents, they know the things that need to be changed, and they know the things that are doing well. And I think that's something that would be really important to stress at this point in the presentation. After that, it's important to talk about what they stand for, because not every school is the same, not every community is the same. Everyone has their own core values and beliefs. So it's important to kind of talk about that as a district, that it's really important to know what you stand for, to have your purpose. If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. And that's the point of this part of the presentation. Then moving on, we would, as a whole group, look at the current vision statement for the school district. The current vision statement is that Eastwood School District is a place where everyone is different and has importance. And it's not perfect, but there are some good elements to the current vision statement. I think that's important to look at as a whole group too. So I imagine the presenter to have some guided questions, maybe call in some audience members, just what do you think this means is our this like for our values. And some of the things that I imagine that would be said is that this statement says that this district is diverse and that they care about their students. I would say that this does not have a very clear hope for the future or any clear goals, so that's something that would need to be improved. It's concise, which is good, but it's not very clear, so there needs to be some clarification. It's not very inspirational, and it doesn't clarify a direction for the school, and this is why we need everyone's help. Then I imagine the presenter or superintendent to really stress the importance of looking at some people who have already found success with vision statements. So here we have Robert Frost Elementary School, and their vision statement is a little bit long, but it's very clear and inspirational. But I think this is a good example to show the staff. The vision at Frost Elementary School is to prepare and motivate students for a rapidly changing world by instilling them critical thinking skills, a global perspective, and a respect for core values of honesty, loyalty, perseverance, and compassion. Students will have success for today and be prepared for tomorrow. Eltham North Primary School, their vision statement is, our school empowers all students to embrace learning, achieve their personal best, and build their emotional, social, and physical well-being. The Florida Department of Education is to create an efficient, world-class education system that engages and prepares all students to be globally competitive for college and careers. Newport Public Schools is a community of lifelong learners that demonstrates the knowledge, skills, and values required for productive global citizenship. After looking at all of those vision statements of other schools that were effective, they were clear, some were concise, and they're inspirational, and you know what those schools and the district's values are based on those. I think it would be important to break out the staff into some round robin discussion. Still having all of the vision statements displayed, they could go around and discuss each of the questions. What patterns do you see in the vision statements? Like some of the things that I would assume that they would say were like there was an academic focus, some had social emotional focus, that it was challenging and things like that. What do you like about the statements? Do they express an idea or hope for the future? Do they clarify a direction for their schools, and was it easy to understand? I think all of that's really important just to get them exposed to examples, and they know what they're looking for in a vision statement, so later down the road they know what kinds of things that we want to express in ours. After that, it would be really important for us to look at some data, and I know that sometimes it's a cringeworthy word when people say data because, you know, when we work in schools, we hear data, data, data all the time. So I found this quote that kind of puts a new perspective on looking at data. It says, the goal is to turn data into information and information into insight. So it's really not all about the data, but it's getting that information, and that information is going to tell a story, which is very insightful to us as a school, especially when we're trying to make up a vision statement. So some of the things that we would look for is attendance rate. That's very important. Are kids wanting to come to school? Are they able to come to school? So we would discuss that the student attendance rate had dropped a little bit since 2014. It went from 92.4% to 89.2%. It's worth mentioning. That only 63% of students at the high school level are in some type of school or sport or activity, something like that. That's something that I would hope to improve if I were looking at this data. Staff attendance is really good. Most of the days missed are Fridays, and it's mostly during the winter months. This is really good to share during the staff meeting because a lot of the staff might decide, even just after hearing, that they might be more diligent and less likely to take those days off after hearing those are usually the days that are missed. The ACT results for our school are pretty good. This data shows us that more and more students are taking the ACDs, but our average score is remaining the same. The ELA scores are actually pretty good. We're staying pretty consistent with our grades 3 through 8 ELA state testing scores. However, our math scores are something that does need improvement. We've actually declined from 2014 to 2015, so this might be an area of focus for the future. The lunch break is strategically placed here because there was a lot of really good information that was given in the morning. It's given teachers a lot and staff a lot to think about. So while they're at lunch, they might be having conversations with coworkers in a low pressure situation and just having time to mull over a lot of the ideas that were presented to them this morning, and they'll come back refreshed and ready to go. So when they come back, this is where they are going to divide up into breakout sessions all over the building. Each of the sessions are going to be a mixture between PTO, teachers, support staff, special ed staff, school board members, and in each of the sessions, there will be one member from the vision oversight team. Their job during this time is to just kind of lead and spark the discussion, also while taking notes of the key phrases and important values that are said. Starting off the breakout sessions, they get to choose between two different types of games to play. These games are representative of having a clear vision statement and communication, and just kind of gets everyone in the room comfortable with each other because they may or may not know each other already. So the first game option is called the Game of Possibilities. How this works is there will be one volunteer in the room, and they will stand up and choose a slip of paper. On that piece of paper, there will be any sort of random object, like a pen, written on there. And they are not allowed to say any words or point to the object if it's in the room, but they have to act out the use of the object. And then the rest of the audience members get to try and guess. You could go through a few people of that one. And the other activity that they could choose to do is the blind drawing. Each person will get a piece of paper and a pencil. Then they will partner up, sit back to back, determine who partner A is, who partner B is, and then they will take turns trying to describe an image to each other without looking and trying to draw the exact same image. And again, this is important because they have to be very clear and very specific about their purpose and what they are wanting from each other. Once the games are done, this is the slide that will show in all of the breakout sessions. All of the Vision Oversight team members will have a copy of these questions. And again, they're not going to jot down word for word what is discussed for each question, but just some key phrases, some common values, and a lot of commonalities that are discussed between people in the group. And then once they're done with this breakout session, they will return to the auditorium. After the breakout sessions, everyone should be led back into the auditorium. This is where the lead speaker or the superintendent is going to reiterate the importance of having a district vision and the value of the staff input and all the hard work that people put in here today. That based on today, this is going to lead us in a great direction, and this could not have happened without everyone's help. Also, during this time, I think it would be imperative for the floor to open up for people to share some of the key findings or ideas that was talked about in their breakout sessions. Not everyone got to hear everyone's amazing ideas, so if someone felt compelled to share it, that's probably a pretty good one. So just a quick little whole group discussion before they're dismissed. The last thing is it's very important for the superintendent to share the next steps, like moving forward. So yes, today was a great informational session. Everyone learned about vision statements. They saw examples, had really meaningful discussions with each other, but they need to know that moving forward, the vision oversight team members had recorded a lot of their important information that was discussed and values and all these amazing things that were said today, and they will meet later on to try to actually develop a concise and clear vision statement reflective of all the hard work that people put in today.